It's about time with Rashawn's About Time Boxing, aka Mr. Trill 100 Mil. Hey, what up to the About Time Boxing family and my Trill 100 Mil gang? Thank you to everybody that has subscribed to the channel, who has been taking out the time to watch the videos, like the videos, and leave the comments. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. If you haven't already subscribe to the channel. Pass the word about Rashawn's About Time Boxing. Listen, we here, we working. And like I always say, I got the best audience on YouTube, bar none. The About Time Boxing family and the Trill 100 Mil gang. The best. Errol Spence, Jaron Boots Ennis. Now, I did a video last week, where, I made it known that Chris Van Heerden said that Jaron Ennis is stronger and hits harder than Errol Spence. And some people think that it's cap. It's not cap. There's no capping over here with Rashawn's About Time Boxing. And anything that I put up, you know what I mean? Instead of just, responding like you know what you're talking about, do the research for yourself. Okay? I had a phone conversation with Jaron Boots Ennis, the father and trainer of Jaron Boots Ennis. And after the fight, Chris Van Heerden came up to them and told them that Jaron Ennis hits harder than Errol Spence and he's stronger than Errol Spence. Now, that's not discrediting Errol Spence in any way, shape, or form. Now, I didn't say that to say that Errol Spence is weak and that he don't have no power. Okay, he has more than a 50% knockout ratio. So, he has some power. Errol Spence is not he's not a weak fighter. He's a very strong fighter, a very smart fighter. His boxing IQ is damn near second to none. One of the smartest fighters in the ring. That's, you know what I mean? So don't get it twisted. Like when I make certain comments about certain fighters, see, some of y'all respond like, like I'm attacking the fighter, and I know that, y'all feel some type of way, or y'all, you know what I mean, y'all ball clapping or whatever it is that y'all doing, you know what I mean? But I'm not attacking the fighters. I respect each and every fighter that gets inside that ring. Because boxing, again, like I said, is not an easy thing. It's not an easy sport. And you don't play it. And it demands a lot. You have to use every muscle in your body when you're boxing. Okay? So I'm not discrediting Errol Spence, and I'm not saying that he's weak. He stopped Chris Van Heerden. And the only thing I said was Jaron was on his way to stopping Van Heerden faster than Errol Spence. And he would have. And anybody who saw the fight know that it was going that way too. Can't deny that. That's like Floyd Mayweather, and Pacquiao. They both fought Ricky Hatton. Floyd got him in the 10th, and Pacquiao got him in the 2nd, I think. Pacquiao's knockout was worse. Errol Spence is the IBF and WBC unified champion. That's not easy. You understand? That's not easy. But now in the beginning, Errol Spence said, even before he became champion, he said that he wanted to prove that he was the best at 147, and he said he was there to fight the very best at 147 and to prove that he's the very best. Jaron Ennis is one of the best at 147. Now, Errol Spence has fought some of the best, yeah. Kell Brook, Danny Garcia, Mikey Garcia, Sean Porter. Okay? But there's still more great upcoming fighters in the welterweight division. And like I said, Jaron Ennis is not a prospect anymore. He's not a top prospect anymore. He's a legitimate contender for any slice of the welterweight championship belts. Any slice of it. And I said before and I say it again, as far as I'm concerned, he's the uncrowned IBO welterweight champion. He should have that belt. So will the fight with Jaron Ennis and Errol Spence happen? Will it happen? Errol Spence said it might happen sooner or later. He did it, him and his trainer, Derek James, they did an interview. They was on The Last Stand with Brian Custer. And he talked about Jaron Ennis. And he said that fight might happen sooner or later. I hope that it's sooner than later. And let's take a listen to what Errol Spence had to say about Jaron Ennis, and then I'll tell you why I hope that it happens sooner than later. I'm giving y'all my opinion on why I feel like it should happen sooner than later. Let's take a listen.
And I'm stronger. Your thoughts on Jaron Boots Ennis?
Great young, hungry dude for fights. Very sharp, very accurate. Look like he punch hard. He may have more tricks than me because I don't really got tricks. I fight my ass off, so I don't know nothing about tricks. But he can fight though. I mean, he's coming up. He's gonna be there along with Virgil Ortiz, and it's probably gonna happen sooner or later.
Now, he said it's probably going to happen sooner or later. Now, if y'all heard it, y'all heard all of the good things that he said about Jaron Ennis. Going to be there for a long time. Looks like he hits hard. Very accurate. So what does that tell you? That Errol Spence is paying attention to Jaron Ennis. So don't think that he's not in Errol Spence's radar. But Errol Spence is chasing the bag now. He's chasing the money. So he's talking about going up to fight Canelo. He said F Keith Thurman. It's not going to happen. And quite simply, I don't blame him either. Like I think Keith Thurman is phony too. You know what I mean? And Keith Thurman, always try to get out of fighting, the tougher fights. He always tried to get out of that stuff. When Errol Spence was trying to fight him, he kept saying, oh, Errol wasn't ready. He didn't fight nobody. Win a belt first. Then when Errol beat Kell Brook, Errol approached him again and said, I got a belt now. What's up? Let's make the fight happen. Then he's talking about, oh, you still didn't beat nobody. You not ready. Just kept making up excuses. So he really didn't want to fight. So now the tables is turned. Now Keith Thurman saying that Errol Spence is going to have to see him or vacate the welterweight division. Believe me, if Errol Spence vacate the welterweight division, it will not be because he's running from no damn Keith Thurman. I promise you that one. That much I guarantee you that one. But the reason why I feel like I hope that the fight happens sooner than later is because if he goes up to 160, the 160 or 68, or if they meet at a catch weight, because Canelo have these rehydration clause in his contracts, and these catch weight clause and stuff in his contracts, and it may put Errol Spence in a position where he goes up and weight 2 or 3 weight classes to fight Canelo. And now let's say Jaron Ennis got the belts and Errol want to come back down to 147. I think that it's going to hurt his body. I think he's going to starch his body trying to come back down to make 147. And then if they do fight and Errol Spence doesn't look like himself, then people are going to say, oh, well, and not only that, like you talking about fighting Canelo, that's going to be a war. That's not going to be, in my opinion, if Errol Spence goes up to fight Canelo, that fight is going to be a war. And it's going to take something out of both of them. And quite honestly, I don't see that fight going 12 rounds. If it go 12 rounds, neither one of them is going to be the same. Neither one is going to be the same fighter after that fight. But if it don't, one of them is going to get stopped or knocked out. That's going to be a very, very tough fight. And it's going to be interesting to see if Errol Spencer's speed and power, you know what I mean, can translate up at those different weight classes. Because you got to remember, you can be strong and effective, you know, at a lower weight. But just because you go up in weight don't necessarily mean you're going to be stronger at that weight either. Adrian Broner went up in weight. And you see, you know, when he was fighting at 140 and he was knocking guys out, he couldn't knock out Paul Malignaggi. And you talking about at the time Broner fought Malignaggi, Broner had like a 80, 90-something% knockout ratio. And Paul Malignaggi still only has 7 knockouts. So when he went up to 47, see, this is when even with Adrian Broner, see, this is when I told everybody that when everybody kept saying he was the next Floyd, kept telling everybody, when he fight Paul Malignaggi, Paul don't have no pop. Adrian Broner is supposed to have some power. Sean Porter stopped him early. Danny Garcia stopped him early. Paul Malignaggi, they stopped him early. I said, if Adrian Broner can't knock this guy out, then y'all know that the guys in 147 too big for him, and his power can't translate up there. And it couldn't. Look at what happened when he fought Maidana. So I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. So just because a fighter goes up, that doesn't necessarily mean that power is going to be there either. He's very strong and solid at 147, Errol Spence is. So I would hope that the fight between him and Jaron Ennis would happen sooner than later. So then that way, it, you know, there's no excuses for either one, for either fighter. No excuses. There ain't no excuses for either one. Jaron wants to prove that he is the best. Errol Spence says that he is the best. So he's not going to fight Terrence Crawford. He's offering Terrence Crawford, I think, a 60-40 or 70-30 split, he said, or whatever we give him. Terrence Crawford is not going to fight Sean Porter. He's offering Sean Porter some crazy, you know, some crazy split, 75-25 or some crap like that, or something like that he's doing. But I don't see how Terrence Crawford can do that to Sean Porter and saying that he's not worth the fight, but you want a 50-50 split with Errol Spence saying that you're worth it. See, they getting caught up in this whole money thing. So at the end of the day, who really wants to prove that they're the best? Who really wants to prove that they're the best at 147? Who? I think Jaron wants to prove it. He wants the same opportunity that Errol Spence, Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford, Ugas, Pacquiao, all of them, everybody, Danny Garcia, all of them. He want the same opportunity that all of those guys were seeking before they became champions. And when people didn't think that they were worth the fight, he wants the same opportunity. And if Jaron win any one of those belts because somebody vacated him, any other champions vacated as opposed to wanting to fight him, then it's just going to be more talk about Jaron. Like, oh, well, you know, they going to say what they going to say about Boots, what they saying about Devin Haney. And if they saying that Jaron is a low reward, then why don't you ask them if they did fight him, how much money they would want to fight him? Because I guarantee you it'll be a high number. So that right there will eliminate that, you know, that low reward. Because, you know, what's going to happen if he becomes the mandatory for any one of those belts? What's going to happen? Let me know what y'all think. Do y'all think the fight between Jaron Ennis and Errol Spence should happen sooner or later? I would like to see it happen sooner, but smash the like button. Leave me some comments. Let me know what y'all think. Shout out to Blue Blood Boxing TV. Shout out to Aki TV. Shout out to Showboat TV. Always the biggest and greatest shouts I say for my About Time Boxing family and my Trill 100 Mil gang. I appreciate y'all rocking with me, and y'all know I'm always going to rock with y'all. Rashawn's About Time Boxing and the Trill 100 Mil gang.